Hi, it's Hazel. Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 69 of the 100-day project. Today we're talking about kids' board books. So I'll show you a couple of prototypes, but what I want to do first is get another coat of gesso onto this little guy that I'm working on so that it has time to dry while I'm showing you some stuff in the other ones that are completed. Now these guys are very tiny. I thought I had bigger ones, to be honest. You know, just, okay, so 3 by 3. This one is 3 3/4 by, well, it's square, so 3 3/4. So what I did this morning so far is do one coat of gesso. Now, if you, so let me just show you in case you're not familiar with board books. They are heavy, they're chipboard. You can see the pages are pretty thick. They are pretty resilient. They're shiny. They're bright and colorful because, of course, they're intended for teeny tiny little kids who who don't yet know how to handle paper books. Excuse me. So now it would be possible to cover this. And I guess one way to do that, oh, maybe I should try that, on this book is to scuff up the pages with some sandpaper. Yeah, I think I'll do that. But with this one, what I did is give it one coat of gesso. Now, if gesso is, I'd say, if you are going to coat the pages, gesso is the preferred product because it adds tooth, which means that it will allow whatever you add to it next, whether it's paint or glue or whatever, to grab a little better. So basically I'm using a dry bristle brush. And, oh, it would have been good if I'd have... Anyway, can't seem to think of everything. So, again, I would have preferred, and my prototypes are the ones that are done. Oh, why is that? Oh, perhaps this isn't dry enough. Now, I'm not going to worry about that because all it does is create some texture. I thought that in this heat, it would have been perfectly dry. It certainly feels dry to the touch. So I'm just going to quickly do this so that it has a chance. Yeah, it seems to be dragging the paint off. I mean, the gesso off. So what I was saying was, maybe I have to use a lighter touch. So what I was saying was gesso is the preferred thing, but if not, you can use, acrylic paint. I suppose I could have added a pigment color to this, but because I don't really have a plan of how I'm decorating it, that would have just been a shot in the dark. So I am trying not to have those pages touch together. It's, it's a bit of a, boy, I really can't believe this because normally gesso dries really pretty quickly. You know what? I had this standing up open, so maybe there was less airflow. Mind you, that's, I don't know. I was going to say less airflow towards the center of the page because that's where the pages would have been the closest together. But anyway, let me just quickly, I guess I don't need to do all my strokes in the same direction either. Maybe it's better to go in the opposite direction. And I also, just touched the brush to the edges of the page, of the pages, so that it wouldn't be that gray chipboard color. the beauty of letting this dry is that because the pages are so rigid, they do stand up nicely. You know, you just want to protect your surface, your, you know, whatever, your desk or... Sorry. You know, I really should, since I'm using these brushes for these videos, I really should chop the handles down so I don't hit the phone. Now, there is still not total coverage. So let me just quickly open this up so these guys don't stick to each other. Try to open them up a little more than I did last time. I'm also going to give the cover another shot, and then I'll keep talking. Now, in the description box below the video, like where it says, you know, I usually write a sentence or two, and then there's my contact information and that. There's always a little thing that says show more, show less. So if you click on the show more, it will open up that area. And there I will link to a lady's channel. I'm sorry, I can't think of... Oh, I'm making fingerprints. It will link to her channel, I believe, and don't quote me, but I believe it's called Book and Paper Arts. And she has a lot of videos on altered books and these kind of board books as well. So you probably want to check her out. She also has freebies. I honestly would have hoped that this second coat would look better than this, but hey, texture is the name of the game. Nice. Okay, I'm just covering this up, and I started using this, you know, saran wrap, plastic wrap stuff in this jar. This is like from pickles or something. I have a fair bit in there because, of course, when I was doing fine art, I was buying gesso by the gallon. Oh dear, I didn't close my baby wipes. So let's see. I just want to get my hands a little bit clean. And I didn't, well, thank goodness I have a jar with some water so that I can keep my brush from being ruined. Anyway, I think that you obviously know where to shop for best prices in terms of, you know, books and so on. I have to say that you can buy these well, not these particular ones necessarily, but you can buy kids board books at the dollar store, but they're not very affordable there. So you want to go to wherever you get your best deals on, oh, see, my hands are wet now. Wherever you get your best deal on used books. Because, of course, kids outgrow those in... Sorry, guys. Kids outgrow those in a matter of months. So I think most people pass them on as soon as unless they've got more kids on coming up behind. But okay, this not the greatest. I thought this would be a good water jar to keep on my desk because it has a small footprint. It's one of those VH sauce, you know, jars, but it's got a narrow mouth and it's not that easy to swish around in there. Okay, I've gotten enough of this off the brush, so it should be fine. Okay, I'll show you. So I can't say where I got these, but one thing I noticed as I was deciding what to work on for this video is this one is different. This would have been probably a better size, a little easier to work with. but it has these lift a flap things. So that's going to take a little more care and attention. Like, I'm thinking that would be so cute, excuse me, to put something under. And when you see the two that I did long before I knew what the heck junk journals were, with the way these things are structured, you're not going to see any pockets, you're not going to see any belly bands, you're not going to see any, really anything that's going to add any bulk, because of course that is going to not work with a book like this. So I think I will tackle this at some point, but again, I'm going to have to figure out how to do that. Maybe this would, oh, I promised to try sandpaper. Maybe this would be the type of book to go with sandpaper. And, oh, see, the pictures underneath are matte. Yeah, different paper. It's just these ones that are so glossy. Okay, let me quickly turn around here and get some sandpaper. And we will try that. Okay, so I have a sponge, you know, these sponge sanders. I have this that is thinner. This is the only abrasive side. This is not. And then, of course, I have a scrap of actual sandpaper. And maybe I'm just going to move this little guy out of the way so none of the dust particles get on the wet gesso. Okay, so let's try this guy first. That seems like quite a bit of hard work to, maybe this one is a little better. It's certainly easier to grip because it's thicker. And basically what I'm trying to do is, again, give it tooth by taking down that gloss. Now it does, you can see that I'm having to apply a fair bit of pressure and how the book is sort of moving back and forth. So I would say that if you're using the sanding method, you know, just be sure to kind of not damage the integrity of the book, because you don't need to start out with a weakened book, you know, even before you glue down your first piece of something. Okay, so I'm not going to continue doing that, but I will, just for the heck of it, try this piece of sandpaper. And of course, we know that this system that I'm using here, I'm basically just applying a thumb's worth of pressure, is not ideal. So no doubt you have seen, or maybe own, or your husband owns a sanding block, which is a heavy rubber thing. It's either a kind of a burnt red or a black in color, and it's got on the short end, so if this was it, on the short ends it has slits, and you sort of pry them apart, put you know, the tail end of your piece of sandpaper into that slot, and then that sort of, there are a couple teeth in there and it catches. You do the same on the other end. Of course, you would have trimmed your sandpaper more to the size of the thing. And then you've got essentially something, a handful to grip, as opposed to what I was trying to do here. But that's not why we were here today. So anyway, it does work. It does take a bit of muscle, so, you know, just kind of be aware of that. So let me quickly wipe this. In case you're wondering, this is just like a dollar store cutting mat. Well, no, not that. excuse me, it's not really a cutting board because it's kind of on the thin side. I'm not even sure how they market it, but it's in, if they still carry them, it's in with the kitchen utensil kind of stuff. And I think you get 3 or so to a package. Okay, maybe I'll just turn this over so that I'm not, this side is dry. Okay, this is the very first one I did. And, you know, YouTube is all about learning and seeing what not to do. So I'll just kind of walk you through it. Now you can see that it kind of wants to flare open. That's why on both my samples, I built in a tie. And this is just some sort of cord. I kind of, I knotted it, and I don't know if I deliberately frayed the end or if that just happened on its own. But what I've done here is, oh, see that tear? This fussy cut butterfly is holding down the 2 ends of the, or is holding down the cord. So again, you're going, with this one especially, well, with both of them, you're going to see some things not to do. This was scrapbooking paper, a few different patterns. And I've mentioned the fussy cut and the cord. So running through it are quotes. So here I did, I must have had guidelines because it's straight. I, you know, sort of, wrote the quote, went over it obviously with a green, like a green marker, felt tip, and then with a glitter one as well. On the back cover, again, more scrapbooking paper. That I stamped. And this, again, is my handwriting with a quote. But I don't know why it looks like that. It almost, I don't recognize that color. It almost looks like a Stabilo All pen that I wet and sort of blurred. Who knows? At this point, who knows? Your guess is as good as mine. So, I suspect that I didn't gesso the pages. That's why I have dark, mind you, it almost looks a bit like brush strokes. I don't know what this is. I'm thinking it maybe is tissue paper. And I've obviously stamped. I've glued down a sticker in order to create a bit of, okay, if I would have used a black pen for the quote here, it would have been unreadable. So I probably outlined these couple of flowers with the white gel pen just so that there's some, well, to lighten the page and to make the quote readable. Now this, I have no idea what this is, but it's lifting here. So obviously the page, the gutter area of the page, of the spread, is kind of critical and not putting, I think we're inclined to want to cover up the gutter, but the more we add there, the more we're going to have problems with things lifting, because that's a point of stress and because there isn't a great deal of room to add things there. So I absolutely love this. I cut it off a mouse pad. It's upside down, but that's okay because flowers can, trail. I cut it off a mouse pad that Indigo, the bookstore, was selling years ago, and a paper mouse pad, which meant that I had many sheets of it. And in fact, maybe someday I'll show you a wall art that I did with it as well. Anyway, I better move along here. So again, I'm thinking, considering I really didn't know what I was doing, I'm kind of happy with this. More scrapbooking paper. This was a decal. These were obviously, this was actually tissue paper, not napkins. This, you can see, is lifting, so I cannot tell. I don't know what that is. Maybe I just put a paper kind of reinforcement down the spine, which, again, probably was not the smartest thing to do. Stamping, again, bird and floral theme going on, and again, these quotes, you know, here and there going in each direction. Now, this was a little bit bolder in that I actually added some stuff with a bit of depth here. So these are little paper cutouts, fuzzy cut butterflies, a sticker, a hummingbird, and then I yet added a sequin to the center of these flowers. So, oh, and this looks like a teeny tiny bit of paper twist ribbon. So I don't know if I just had a really narrow strip of it. It's got a bit of depth to it, but not that much. And this is a trick that artists use, is to have something for the eye to follow. So in this case, and maybe I should have asked you that before, although I wouldn't have heard your answer. Maybe I should have asked you that before I tell you the answer. But for most people, their eye would enter, because we read, we read from left to right in our part of the world. Anyway, I would enter here, go this way, follow this line. Oh, here. Oh, and it circles back, and there it goes this way. And, you know, and then it basically exits on this side. So that is kind of a trick to use when you need to make the eye, you know, to carry the eye through a piece. When I was taking art classes, one of the things that we always looked for when we were critiquing our own work and the others in the class was, is there a place where the eye gets stuck? That is not something, like, you want a focal point, but you still want the eye to be able to move forward. Anyway, I don't know what this book was to begin with, I hope you can see that here there are windows with little balconies. Here is a little kid, because there's a pair of eyes and a little striped t-shirt. Here are some words. So I very clearly did not, more shutters here. I very clearly did not try to totally obliterate whatever was on the book page, but rather kind of let it, peek through. Now, I believe, excuse me, and again, quotes, that I would have obviously stroked on, you know, sort of these bits of color that you see. And there's an iridescence to that paint, so that too is kind of nice. Now, maybe this, in the golden mean, this is probably the focal point here. I've got an area of higher contrast. I've got this, and I've got this hummingbird pointing right there, as does this string. Anyway, that's not what you signed up for. So this is a ribbon, a grosgrain ribbon, bold colors, and obviously this was my attempt to reinforce this particular gutter. I have to, I don't know what this is, but I love it so much. I don't know if I might have put tissue paper down and then painted over it. There is some texture to it, but the color, magnificent. And obviously stamps. I love this stamp, and I clearly I used it in several places. And in several places, I also painted in, I presume, I'm thinking that's paint, painted in the petals. Left some, you know, just an outline. These pansies are those, I think the trade name or whatever is Wallies. They're those little wallpaper motifs that you can buy, you know, different subject matter to stick to your wall. So, and you already saw the back. Okay, so that, I spent a little too much time on that, I think. This is one that I probably did second. I was clearly playing around with a dangle. I guess I combined these threads or these pieces of yarn that kind of match the color, and I added a couple of heavy beads that are just with, you know, some big knots holding them down. Some purple or mauve Pico satin ribbon, a sticker, scrapbook paper. This is a fussy cut off the paper, obviously, and both here and here, it's being used to hold down the ribbon so that it stays, you know, the way it is, so it doesn't lift up. Okay, so let's see what I did wrong in this one. Or more importantly, to be positive, let's see what I did right in this one. So, love hydrangeas. This is one of those Wally things again. I've used these stickers. Now I don't know if you can see it there, but they do have a bit of shine to them. So maybe if I was doing that now, I wouldn't pick those kinds of stickers. But again, the colors were good. Relaxation, today is the day. Some printed or stamped some script on here. These are paper flowers that, you know, are pretty thin. These are some cutouts that, or punch outs that obviously match. And this is just colored tissue paper. Again, because I think this would have maybe just disappeared into the background. I cannot see what the original pages included, but I can see my brush strokes. So, okay, on this one, clearly I wanted some sparkle and shine because I have a glittery ribbon now, as well as this lovely turquoise one. And this is basically just a repetition. Well, is it a repetition or is everyone different? Looks like these are all different quotes. So I've used different gel pens. I've run them in different directions. This one ran across the whole page. You know, I think most of them I could read if I had to. What did I put down at the bottom? It might have been a type of tissue. I don't know. I can't tell. And of course, these fussy cut flowers that are scattered around. A bird and a little puffier sticker. I love this, again, because I love these colors. So these things came from some gift wrap. I used some thread. I used some cheesecloth. This is a thicker sticker. I suppose I could rip this off and get rid of the little foam piece underneath. Oh, this was some lovely paper that I had, purple and silver. So, you know, that kind of sparkly thing was there. Some iridescent ink, acrylic ink. Cannot really tell what my base was here. Again, I suspect it might have been tissue paper. On this page, obviously some purple, that looks like mulberry paper that I've stamped on, I guess. More of those pansies, more of these little sticker or whatever those things are. And a sticker in the same color family, some stamped florals in the background. This one is even, see in here, I didn't, on none of these pages did I make an attempt to reinforce and strengthen the gutter. So, you know, there's maybe a wee bit of lifting there, but much better result than that one. So I think that is the preferred way to go. Okay, so here, basically more of the same. This, I believe, no, is that fabric or is it? To be honest, I can't tell if that's fabric or wrapping paper. I've got some ribbon. See, this is, you know, maybe this in a nutshell sums up for me why I love mixed media and why I love collage. Because, okay, I did this, and it's not like I did it 25 years ago. I did it maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And it's like a process of rediscovery. Even though I did it, I am rediscovering what I might have, or guessing at, or trying to break the code of what I might have done. I see there's a tiny little person there. Again, I only see that because I'm looking for it. That's certainly not what your eye would have been drawn to. It is just so much fun. Now, these are motifs from some napkins that I really love. By the way, if you're, I hope you would have seen, I think I scheduled it for yesterday. The napkin, no, let me look in my book and I'll tell you exactly. Okay, we're doing day 69 today. So the napkin one, oh yeah, day 68 was napkins. So I really hope you watch that one because I think there were some really good ideas, and I do a bit of a show and tell of some of the napkins that I just have handy in a drawer, and it does not represent all the napkins I have. Anyway, yarn, this would be the same stuff that I made this thing with. How did I tie? Oh, see, I just looped that over that ribbon. Tissue paper, some splatters with that ink. Again, fibers to help carry the eye through. Paper flowers. And these stickers. And of course, you've seen the back. So, how are we doing for time? Oh dear, we're at half an hour, 33 minutes, and we haven't really done anything other than show you some beautiful stuff. Okay, let me bring this back in. Now, I'm afraid that maybe this isn't, yeah, see here, it's still tacky. I don't know, should I didn't really, the only thing that I pulled out to use, yeah, see, that's tacky as well. I could give it a little short blast with my heat gun. I think that it would be a mistake to try to work on this. It is not dry, and I don't want to sit here, nor do I want to make you wait for me to, oh, see, I really did it thick here, it transferred onto there, and this is all good, but frankly, until it air dries, I think it would be a problem. See, on a page like this, black letters on a purple background, I'd say that one is good to go as it is. This one, that boy, is still pretty obvious. This yellow one is not good. But again, I think that you can take it. I think that you can take it from here. You know how to collage. You know how to select papers and glue stuff down. You know that you've seen what I did well and what I could have done better. And you know that you can't load it up with a whole bunch of bulky stuff. So, I mean, it's just like essentially doing a paper collage, except you're doing it in a finished book. I'll tell you what I did intend if I would have been able to proceed and do some decorating. I was planning to use something out of here. This book, I'm sure it's from the 70s. 1980. Okay, so it, Wood Projects, this guy I think had he had a TV show, Mr. Chips. So a lot of drawings like this, and really cute that they've used orange as for the titles. Look at these. Look, is this not cute? Like the lists and the measurements and the dimensions, like fractions. 15 5/8 by 17 1/4, 3/4 inch plywood. So I think that this will be fun to use, and it will make a great, like, I think I'd be consistent all the way through. The paper is kind of yellowy. I don't know if that's the original color, if it's just because of age. Look at that haircut and those sideburns. And then would choose whatever, you know, you pick your favorites: birds, flowers, butterflies, mushrooms, children, anything under the sun, to add a bit of a focal point to each page. Or maybe you just choose to do what I did in one of those books and just do handwritten quotes. Again, when something is this small, it doesn't take a great deal to fill it. So I'm going to quit here. I will, sorry guys. I will work on that, and you know, one of these days when I get it done, I'll either post it on Instagram so you see it, and that obviously is another way that I help draw attention to my videos. But I really do encourage you to keep your eye peeled for these books. You know, not necessarily this size, but it's a great way to work on a small project, because there's so few pages. It doesn't take that long to complete. You don't have to, you know, for those people who are afraid of bookbinding, you don't have to worry about that. Like, there are a lot of things to be said for it. And I'll just remind you that I will link the channel of that other gal that I was talking about. I think it's Book and Paper Arts. And, oh, let me do my commercial before I let you go. I hope that you please consider subscribing, liking, so that's the thumbs up, commenting, and sharing. It's Hazel and Aka Design, and I have promised that when I hit the 500 subscribers mark, there will be a very nice prize that I think anyone would be happy to win. So let's help me get there. The sooner we do, the sooner somebody wins. Anyway, thanks, guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.